Let's be honest, the most dangerous woman in your life is not the one who loudly wants you. It's the one trying to hide it, the one who acts normal while her emotions quietly betray her in ways she doesn't even realize. And if you miss those signs, you will spend years chasing women who feel nothing while ignoring the woman who was silently hoping you would notice her all along. Most men think attraction is obvious. They think if a woman likes them, she will say it clearly, text first every day, or throw herself into their arms. But female psychology does not work that way. Women are emotional investigators. Before they reveal desire, they study you. They watch how you move, how you react, how you handle pressure, rejection, silence, attention, and other women. Attraction for a woman often begins in secrecy before it ever becomes visible. And the first sign is something most men completely misunderstand. She remembers tiny details about you that nobody else notices. Not the obvious things, not your birthday or your job title. I mean the strange little details you mentioned once and forgot about yourself. Your favorite late-night snack, the song you played in the car 3 months ago, the way you take your coffee, the random story about your childhood dog. A woman who is emotionally invested stores details because emotionally attached people pay attention differently. Here's what most men miss. Women do not deeply remember men they feel nothing for. Their minds naturally prioritize emotional significance. So when she casually brings up something you barely mentioned weeks ago, that is not random. That is emotional focus. And the scary part is she often won't even realize she's doing it. A secretly attracted woman studies you quietly because your existence has become psychologically important to her. You enter her emotional pattern recognition. She becomes curious about what shapes you, what hurts you, what excites you, and what makes you feel alive. This is why she asks subtle follow-up questions long after conversations should have died. A woman who is not interested listens to reply. A woman who secretly desires you listens to remember. And men destroy their chances here because they assume attraction must always look loud. But real attraction often begins softly, controlled, hidden beneath normal conversation. Women rarely risk emotional exposure early because attraction makes them vulnerable too. That's something many men never understand. Women fear rejection just as deeply as men do, sometimes more. So instead of confessing attraction directly, they reveal it through attention, through emotional investment, through curiosity disguised as casual conversation. And if you are emotionally asleep, you will miss it entirely. Now here's the second hidden layer to this sign. When a woman remembers small details, she is subconsciously trying to create emotional intimacy. She wants you to feel seen, understood, different around her because attraction is not only physical for women, it is emotional positioning. She wants to become psychologically special in your mind. That's why she says things like, "You mentioned you were stressed this week. How did that meeting go?" To most men, it sounds polite. To emotionally intelligent men, it sounds intimate because most people forget. Most people barely listen. But someone emotionally drawn to you absorbs pieces of you like they matter. And if a woman starts remembering your emotional states instead of just facts, pay attention. That means she's no longer focused only on who you are. She's focused on how you feel. That's when attraction becomes dangerous because emotional attention is the doorway to emotional attachment. And once a woman becomes emotionally attached to a man, her behavior changes in ways she struggles to control. You start appearing in her thoughts without permission, and when that happens, the signs only get stronger. The second sign she is secretly attracted to you is not what she says to you. It's what she does when she thinks you are not watching. A woman who is emotionally drawn to you will begin to mirror your behavior in subtle ways that feel almost unconscious. She starts matching your energy without realizing it. If you speak calmly, she softens her tone around you. If you become playful, she becomes more playful back. If you pull away slightly, she suddenly becomes more present, more engaged, more attentive. This is not coincidence. This is psychological mirroring, one of the strongest indicators of subconscious attraction. Women do this because emotional chemistry requires alignment. She is not copying you to impress you. She is copying you because her nervous system is trying to connect with yours. And here is where most men misunderstand everything. They think she is just being friendly or polite or naturally social. But attraction does not always show up as bold behavior. It often shows up as synchronization. She starts using your phrases, your slang, even your timing in conversation. She laughs at your jokes a fraction of a second later than she should because she is watching your reaction first. That delay is important. It means she is not just reacting, she is calibrating herself to you. And when a woman calibrates her emotional responses around a man, she is no longer neutral, she is invested. You will also notice her becoming slightly more self-aware around you. She fixes her hair more often, adjusts her posture, becomes aware of how she looks when you are present. But this is not just about appearance, it is about control. She wants to feel emotionally aligned and physically acceptable in your presence because attraction always creates self-awareness. And you are observant enough, you will notice something even deeper. She starts reacting to your moods without explanation. If you are distant, she becomes quieter. If you are energetic, she becomes more open. If you are uncertain, she becomes slightly anxious. That emotional synchronization is not friendship. That is attraction forming in real time. When a woman starts reflecting your internal state back at you, she is emotionally linking herself to your experience. This is why she seems different around you compared to other people. You are not just another conversation. You are becoming her emotional reference point. And once that happens, she will begin to test subtle boundaries, not to manipulate you, but to understand you. She will pause longer in conversations, looking for your reactions. She will say slightly personal things and watch how you respond. She is mapping your emotional safety. And if you stay calm, consistent, and grounded, she feels more attracted without knowing why. Because female attraction is deeply connected to emotional stability. A man who does not react emotionally to every shift becomes psychologically magnetic. And she feels that magnetism through silence, through observation, through small moments she cannot explain. That is why she keeps coming back into your space, even without a clear reason. Because attraction does not always need permission. Sometimes it grows in silence until it becomes undeniable. And by the time you realize it, she has already been emotionally studying you for much longer than you thought possible. And that is everything. The third sign she is secretly attracted to you is the way her presence changes when you enter the room, even if she tries to hide it. A woman who feels nothing for you will treat you like background noise, but a woman who is emotionally drawn to you becomes subtly alert the moment you appear. Not obvious, not dramatic, but noticeable if you know what to look for. Her body language shifts first before her words ever do. She straightens slightly. Her energy resets. Her attention divides without her permission. Even if she is talking to someone else, part of her awareness locks onto you. And the most revealing part is this: she often pretends not to notice you noticing her. That contradiction is where attraction hides, because if she completely ignores you, there is no emotional tension. But if she reacts too strongly, she exposes herself. So instead, she lands in the middle. Controlled awareness, subtle adjustments, quiet monitoring. Now here's what most men miss completely. When a woman is attracted, she becomes slightly more expressive in your direction than she is with others. Not louder, not obvious, just more alive. Her eyes linger a fraction longer when she looks at you. Her smiles appear more naturally, not forced. And when you speak, she reacts as if your words carry slightly more weight than everyone else's. This is emotional prioritization. You are no longer just another person in the environment. You are becoming a psychological focus point. And here is where it gets even deeper. A secretly attracted woman will often create unnecessary reasons to be near you. She will position herself within your space without making it look intentional, sitting slightly closer, standing where she can hear your voice, moving into your line of sight in group settings. And she will always make it feel accidental even when it happens repeatedly. But repetition removes coincidence because attraction does not always chase loudly. Sometimes it orbits quietly. She is testing proximity without risking rejection. And there is another layer most men completely ignore. When a woman is emotionally drawn to you, she becomes slightly more responsive to your validation, even when she acts independent. If you laugh at something she says, she registers it deeply. If you give her attention, she holds onto it longer than expected. If you ignore her slightly, she becomes more mentally active around you, trying to re-enter your awareness without looking desperate. That emotional push and pull is not confusion. It is attachment forming. And if you pay attention closely, you will notice she behaves differently around you compared to other men. With others, she may be controlled, polite, distant. But with you, there is variation, more curiosity, more unpredictability, more emotional fluctuation. That fluctuation is important because emotional inconsistency around one specific person usually means emotional significance is building. And here's the truth most men never hear. A woman does not need to tell you she is attracted. Her nervous system will tell you first, in the way she breathes around you, in the way she adjusts herself when you are near, in the way she becomes slightly more alive in your presence without knowing why. And if you are unaware of this language, you will miss it completely, even when she is already halfway emotionally attached to you and waiting for you to notice what she has been silently communicating all along. The fourth sign she is secretly attracted to you is the one most men completely misread because it looks like distance, when in reality it is emotional resistance breaking down in real time. A woman who feels nothing for you stays consistent, predictable, emotionally flat, but a woman who is attracted to you begins to behave in contradictions. One moment she is warm, engaged, laughing with you, and the next moment she pulls back slightly, becomes quieter, more reserved, almost as if she is resetting herself, and men usually interpret this wrong. They think she is losing interest, but in female psychology, sudden emotional pullback often means something very different. It means she is trying to regain control over feelings she did not plan to develop because attraction is not always comfortable for women. It creates internal conflict. Part of her enjoys the connection. Another part of her becomes cautious, even slightly defensive, because emotional attachment creates vulnerability. So she regulates herself. She steps forward, then steps back. Not because she's playing games, but because her emotional system is balancing risk and desire at the same time. And here is the deeper layer most men never see. When she pulls back, she is not leaving you emotionally. She is observing you from a safer distance. She wants to see how you respond when she is not giving full attention. Do you chase? Do you stay calm? Do you lose confidence? Do you become reactive? Because your reaction during her distance tells her everything about your emotional stability. And emotional stability is one of the strongest triggers of attraction. A man who becomes anxious when she pulls away signals emotional dependence. A man who stays grounded signals emotional strength. And women are extremely sensitive to that difference. So, when she withdraws slightly and still keeps you within reach, she is not disconnecting. She is testing emotional balance. Now, here's something even more subtle. A secretly attracted woman will often maintain contact through minimal signals during her distance phase. She may still watch your stories. She may still respond slower, but she responds. She may still appear around your social space indirectly. It is not full disappearance. It is controlled reduction because she is trying to feel the pull of attraction without losing herself inside it. And this is where most men lose power without realizing it. They overreact to the distance. They chase. They seek validation. They try to fix the shift. And in doing so, they confirm emotional imbalance. But when a man stays steady during her emotional pullback, something interesting happens. She begins to return on her own. Not because she was gone, but because she was testing whether her absence would destabilize him. And when it doesn't, attraction deepens instead of fading because stability creates psychological safety and safety creates attachment. That is why she comes back slightly softer, more open, more engaged than before, as if something inside her has relaxed. But what has really changed is her perception of you. You are no longer just someone she is reacting to emotionally. You are someone who remains stable even when her emotions shift. And that stability becomes attractive in ways she cannot fully explain. And if you miss this pattern, you will think she is inconsistent or confusing. But in reality, she is revealing attraction in the only way she knows how to manage it without exposing herself too early and risking emotional rejection. The fifth sign she is secretly attracted to you is the one that feels the most personal because it happens in her attention, not her actions. A woman who is not interested in you treats your words as temporary. They pass through her mind and disappear. But a woman who is emotionally drawn to you starts remembering what you say, especially the emotional parts, not just facts, not just jokes, but the meaning behind your words. She remembers how you feel, not just what you say. And this is where it becomes undeniable because she begins to bring up things you thought were forgotten, not in a random way, but in a way that shows continuity. She builds emotional threads across conversations. She connects yesterday's moment to today's interaction. She creates a timeline of you in her mind that is not casual attention. That is emotional investment. Now, here's the part most men miss. When a woman is attracted, she does not just listen to you. She studies your emotional patterns. She notices what excites you, what frustrates you, what makes you quiet, what makes you confident, and over time, she begins adjusting her behavior slightly based on what she learns. If she notices you respond well to humor, she becomes more playful around you. If she notices you value depth, she becomes more thoughtful in conversation. If she notices you withdraw when things get too intense, she learns how to pace herself around you. She is not changing for you consciously, she is adapting to you emotionally. And that adaptation is one of the strongest hidden indicators of attraction because people only adapt themselves around individuals they emotionally prioritize. Now, let's go deeper. A secretly attracted woman will often ask questions that go beyond surface level. Not just what do you do or where are you from, but questions that reveal identity, your opinions, your values, your past, your emotional experiences. She is not just trying to make conversation. She is trying to understand your inner world because attraction for women is not just physical curiosity. It is emotional mapping. She wants to know who you are when no one is watching, how you think when you are alone, what kind of man you become under pressure, what kind of life you are building. And she listens carefully because every answer adds depth to her internal image of you. And the more detailed that image becomes, the stronger the emotional attachment grows. There is also something subtle happening in her behavior that most men ignore. She begins to validate you more than necessary, not in an exaggerated way, but in small confirmations. She agrees with your opinion slightly more often. She acknowledges your perspective more seriously. She treats your thoughts as something worth considering even when others might overlook them. That is respect forming from attraction, because women do not emotionally invest in men they do not value. And when she starts valuing your mind, your perspective, your presence, she is no longer just interacting with you socially. She is emotionally aligning with you. And that alignment is dangerous in the most beautiful way. Because once a woman starts mentally integrating you into her emotional world, she does not just see you in conversations anymore. She starts thinking about you when you are not there. And that is the moment most men never recognize until it is already too late. Because by then, she has already built a version of you in her mind that feels emotionally real to her, and she is just waiting to see if reality will match it. The final sign she is secretly attracted to you is not in what she does around you anymore. It is what she does when you are not around at all, because this is where attraction becomes real. A woman can control her behavior in your presence. She can hide, adjust, play it cool, even confuse you on purpose without meaning to, but she cannot fully control what you trigger in her absence. That is where the truth leaks out. And the clearest sign is simple. You start existing in her thoughts without effort. Not in an obsessive way she can explain, but in quiet moments when she is doing nothing, when her mind is free, when there is no distraction to block what she is actually feeling. She thinks about your last conversation. She replays your tone. She reconsiders your words. She wonders what you meant, even when you didn't mean anything deep. Because attraction creates interpretation. Now, here is what most men never understand. When a woman is emotionally neutral, you disappear from her mind the moment you leave her presence. But when she is secretly attracted, you leave an emotional echo. Something stays behind, ace. A feeling, a curiosity, a mental return to you without permission. And over time, that echo grows stronger. She may catch herself checking her phone for no logical reason. She may find herself hoping you message, even if she told herself she wouldn't care. She may revisit your social media just to feel a sense of presence again, and she will never call it attraction at first. She will call it boredom or coincidence or just thinking too much. But her behavior tells a different story because emotionally uninterested women do not revisit you in their mind. They move on instantly. Now, here is the most important layer. When a woman is attracted, she starts imagining scenarios involving you, not always romantic at first. Sometimes simple things, conversations, future interactions, random situations where you are present. Her mind begins inserting you into her mental timeline, and this is where attachment begins forming silently because the human brain bonds through repetition. The more she mentally returns to you, the more emotionally familiar you become, and familiarity creates attachment. This is why she may suddenly become more responsive after periods of silence, why she re-engages without a clear reason, why she acts slightly warmer after distance, because she has been thinking about you more than she admits even to herself. And now, here is the final truth most men never hear clearly. Attraction is not just about what she shows you. It is about what she cannot stop feeling when you are not there. The men who understand this do not chase confusion. They observe patterns. They stay grounded. They do not panic when signals shift because they know real attraction does not disappear randomly. It builds, it cycles, it returns, and it reveals itself through behavior that repeats over time. So, if you recognize these signs in a woman, you don't need to force anything. You just need awareness, because once a woman is emotionally invested, she is no longer just reacting to you. She is already connected to you in ways she has not fully admitted yet. And now ask yourself this honestly. Have you ever experienced a woman who showed you these signs, but you ignored them because they didn't look the way you expected attraction to look? Tell me in the comments. And if this made you see things differently, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who still thinks attraction is always loud when in reality, it often speaks the quietest.